I'm pleased to be here not only with Congressman Rush, but with an effective group of advocates today. I think today we celebrate a victory for women everywhere, a gift for Mother's Day for all new mothers who suffer the agony of postpartum depression, all who have worked tirelessly to make the Melanie Stokes Blocker Mothers Act a reality. I want to thank my colleague Senator Durbin, who is the counterpart to Congressman Rush from Illinois, who joined us in this effort. Mrs. Blocker, who is here and is going to speak shortly. We're pleased that we could be here with you today. This is for your daughter's memory. To Susan Dowd Stone from Postpartum Support International and Catherine Stone of the Postpartum Progress website. I know they both work their hearts out every day to make sure that new mothers who might face this challenge would never be alone. Again, you made a real difference. To Sylvia Alessandra, a survivor and author of A Daughter's Touch, her compelling story of her struggle to share with so many other women. Thank you, Sylvia, for what you did. I want to thank the groups who are tireless supporters in the midst of some I would say fringe elements who try to suggest that there was something wrong with this legislation. Certainly the expertise and the advocacy of the American Congress of Obstetricians and Gynecologists and the American Psychological Association were very important. And we would be remiss if we didn't take a moment to acknowledge the support of a good friend and a tireless advocate for women. When I started this journey in the Senate, he was strongly supportive, and that's the late Senator Ted Kennedy, who is smiling down on us today. So to all who I've mentioned and to the many advocacy groups represented here, thank you for being true champions of the law and a key part of its success. We all know why we're here. We're here because mothers nationwide who are suffering from postpartum depression finally will get the support they need because of the Melanie Blocker Stokes Mothers Act. We're here because we know the importance of meeting the challenge of postpartum depression on multiple fronts, with education, with supportive services and research, so that new moms can feel supported and safe rather than scared and alone. The Mothers Act, which is now the law as part of the health insurance reform that Congress passed and the President signed into law, will go a long way to provide that support. It will help new mothers suffering from postpartum depression to feel safe, to help them get through it, to help researchers get to the bottom of it. And with the National Public Awareness Campaign, the Mothers Act will shine a needed light on the seriousness and devastation that postpartum depression can bring, so that new mothers and the general public better understand it and understand help is available. I've always said, while our focus is on mothers, this is about families at the end of the day. It's about the child that was just born and the relationship with their mother who are suffering from postpartum depression. It's about the husband, it's about the grandparents, it's about everybody in a family coming together to help meet this challenge. I'm confident the law will be the beginning of a long-lasting and effective federal effort to combat this debilitating condition. The fact is, this legislation tells every American that postpartum depression is a national problem that deserves and demands a national response. The law is a symbol of our commitment to help mothers who suffer from this disorder. It will help educate new moms, their families, and every American about the torment of postpartum depression and what it can do and how it can be met. It will open avenues of research into causes, diagnosis, and treatment of postpartum depression that affects between 10 and 20%. 10 and 20% of all new mothers, as many as 800,000 new cases each year. 11 to 16,000 new cases in my home state of New Jersey, where our former First Lady ultimately did a tremendous job, Mary Jo Cody, who made a tremendous effort and had a state law passed that is the impetus to a lot of what we did in this legislation. And it encourages the creation of programs to give grants to community organizations, hospitals, state and local governments to support local support services. Hopefully over time we'll see those support services spring up in every city and community, because postpartum depression knows no boundaries, no race, no economic class. The bottom line is this law makes postpartum depression a national issue, and that's a victory. It sets us on a path towards better understanding the condition over the next 2 years and finding the best ways to promote the most effective screening and diagnostic techniques. And one more thing worth noting. With health insurance reform signed into law after a long fight, one important thing to come out of it is that all new insurance plans will be required to cover comprehensive women's preventative care and screening. That's the law. That's a major victory for all women, and I'm proud to have voted for it. So I know in speaking to so many women who have experienced the overwhelming sadness, the unbearable thoughts, the emotional nightmare of postpartum depression, that this law is not only badly needed, but it was the right thing to do. As a community, we have an obligation to help all new mothers who need our help. And I know that that's a perfect gift to give mothers across the landscape of this country this Mother's Day.